everyone, welcome to our channel. In today's video we are going to analyze the population distribution using Power BI. So here I have the source data in front of me and I have my Power BI project as well open in front of me. So let's quickly analyze the source data. So this data belongs to United Kingdom and here I have population distribution for almost all the ages across all the geographical territories. So when we say UK, we have plenty of territories like county, country, region, unitary authority, metropolitan county, etc. So we are going to analyze data at the county level and we can do that at the country level also. And if so, there is a column. This column is to give us the geography type, and here we have multiple columns for each age. So that gives the number of head count at each age. So that goes up to 90 plus. So what we can do is up to 89 we can consider that as 89. Anything beyond 90 plus can be considered as 90. So this is our source data, and let's quickly see how we are going to clean up this data for further data analysis. Okay, so first thing to do, to start with, I'm going to import this data into Power BI. Let me go back here, Excel workbook. So here is mine, UK population. So one challenge that we have here is the number of columns. Okay, so Power BI is clever in one way that if you could see the source data, we have all this helper text in the first few rows up to row number 1 to 7. That's not needed for us. So Power BI is clever enough to trim that part and suggest us with a proper table. So the bottom one that you see here is with the helper text, and the above one a proper table that's formatted by Power BI for us. And this is feature of PowerQuery. Let's click on transform data, and once we click on transform data, that opens PowerQuery editor view. Now let's quickly do certain things. Actually we don't need all the ages count here because it is nothing but the sum of end to end. So let's say I sum up all this count, that gives me this 67026, which is nothing but the first count, 67026 to 92. So I can get rid of this column for sure. I don't need this. Remove column. Let me refresh preview also once. Okay, so now I have multiple columns. I should say 90 columns which are actually not required for us. We can't do the data analysis on columns. We need them all in rows. Only then we will be able to do the data analysis. So even simple trick that we have to do is we have to unpivot our data. So let's select all these columns and let's quickly unpivot this data. Before that, let's quickly rename this column. We don't need this plus. Now select all the columns that contains age data, and we are going to unpivot this data, unpivot columns. Excellent. So now we have a attribute and value. Now I'm going to change this into whole number, and here we have value. Let's say this is age and this is age value. Otherwise we can see age category oh no, it should not be category, it should be just age and age value. And here we have geographical type. I think rest all good. So we can load this data, close and apply. So once we close and apply this, that starts loading data into our data model. Now, excellent. So we got the data into our data model now. Should be able to see. Yes. So here we have data. Let's select any one location and let's see how the data looks like exactly. Let's select Aberdeen City. So if you see Aberdeen City, it's council area, and we could see almost 90 rows. 91 rows. Here is from 0 to 90. We could see 91 rows for every geographical location. So though that actually increases our row count. So we got a total row count of 38 to 20 after this unpivoting transformation, but that's required to do the analysis. Here we had just close to 400 or something, I think. So if we here we had just 420 rows, 420 into 91, that has given us close to 38 to 20 rows. So that's how unpivoting works. Now we can't build anything directly on top of this data, because this data contains almost various geographical type which can't be fit in a same scale. For example, if you see country, let's select country. If you select country, your values would be in a vast scale, so you could see values even in million. Whereas if you select a small council area, your value could be either in hundreds or even in thousands. So you can't exactly compare them all together. So one best way I would suggest is to split the data, based on the geographical type. So how can we do that? Now we are just going to do that. So this is what we are going to do. Let's say split the data based on geographical type. That's first thing. And then split age based on category. So what categories are we going to use here? So I'll come to that. Okay, so we need to split the age based on category. So when I say category, it will be like subcategory infant, children, young adult, and then adult, and finally we have senior citizen. So what is the criteria for these ages? 0 to 3, and then for children it should be 3 to 12. Young adult would be 12 to 17, and then would be from 18 to 58, and senior citizen will be above 58. Now we need to classify the data that we have in our hand to this format. So let's say this is the data we have. We just have the agent numbers. We don't have them in the categories actually. So we need to split this data or group this data into the category, each category wise. So how can we do that? So let's say we are going to use a DAX measure here to do this activity, and we are going to use DAX Summarize. First thing, so this summarize is nothing but equal to group by in PowerQuery. So this here we are going to pivot the data based on their condition. So let's go to home, and then we can write a new DAX expression to create a new table. Okay, so we are going to create the DAX table. So click on this new table that we are going to write this formula. So we are going to do this categorization only for county. So county age categorization equal to, so we are going to use this summarize formula. Summarize, so which table are we going to summarize? We are going to summarize my E2 persons, comma, group by column. So here we have now before we go for direct summary, we need to apply filter for this table. We are not going to summarize all the locations, but we are going to summarize only county. So first thing, let's apply filter at the table level. Filter, so let's filter this table only for the locations. For geography equal to county. Perfect. And once this filter condition passes, we are going to take the column, respective column, that is the geography name. Excellent. So now this is clear. Then after this, we are going to group by column based on the age condition. Now we need a column for infant. Let's pick this infants. So this should be based on the expression calculate sum of age values when age is less than or equal to 3. So because up to 3 years they are all infants. Excellent. So yeah, now let's quickly see how the result looks like. Then we can create the categories for others as well. So excellent. So here we have the category. Let's take Cumbria. We got the summarized value as 17,000. Let's see if it is even true for Cumbria. So I have selected Cumbria. So for Cumbria 0 to 3, I have close to 4K for 4 instances of 4K, which sums up to close to 17K. So calculation is correct. So what we are doing is correct, and now we just need to create new columns for young adult, children, and senior citizen. We can quickly do that. Let's take comma. Now next column would be children, and expression for this column would be, let's copy the same, let's paste it here. Okay, here I miss to put comma. It should be greater than 3. Condition would be greater than 3 and age less than or equal to 12. Okay, so that satisfies, and let's hit enter to see what we get. Okay, we got new column for children now. Now same way, let's create one for young adult. So let me create them all in a single stretch, comma. So we are just going to change the formula. And here it would be greater than 12, less than equal to 17. And then after this comma, we'll be having adult, comma. For adult it will be greater than 17, greater than 17, and will be less than or equal to 58. And then final category, senior citizen, and formula would be this, greater than 58. We don't have any n cap. Okay, perfect. So now I'm just going to get okay, excellent. So now we have all the counties here, and we have respected each categorization here. Now how can we compare which age is actually distributed, I mean which age is more in a region and which age is less in a region based on their count. Now if you see this data somewhat looks like this source data. In source also we had our geographical name, then the type, and we had all the ages. The only thing that we have done so far is we have just grouped them all together into categories. Now in case if we have to analyze this data, we need to do the same thing again, that is we need to unpivot this data. So how can we unpivot this data? So last time we have unpivoted this data using PowerQuery. So we have used the unpivot columns option in PowerQuery to unpivot this, and this time we are going to use DAX expression for unpivoting this data. So when I say unpivot, we don't have any direct formula available to unpivot this data in DAX. We are going to use a different method, not the direct. There is no direct way to unpivot the data, that is to bring infant, children, young adult, adult and senior citizen in one single column as a key. We don't have any direct formula as such, but we are going to use a different formula. So let's create a new table. I'm going to name this as county data analysis. Excellent. Now I'm going to create temporary tables, and we are going to union the table. So to do this, let's create first a table called infant table equal to, I'm going to use this formula select columns. So from which table are we going to select the columns? We are going to select the columns from county, each categorization table. And what is our first column name? It's going to be county county will be our first column name, and it will be nothing but name, right? Then second column would be we need to have age key, and I am going to hard code this as infants. And third column would be age value, and this will be taken from infants. So that gives me a table. Now let's create a similar table for children. I'm just going to copy paste and edit this. No, it's not infant table, it should be children table. Children table, county, age key, and then age key would be children, and age value will be children. Excellent. Now final table will be something like this, where result table equal to union of infant table comma children table. So let's first do it for two categories, and then I will show you how exactly it looks. Let me return this. Return result table. Excellent. So I'll just show you how exactly it looks. Excellent. So now we have county. Let's select one county, Cambridge, and you could see two values. Under key we have infant and children, and under value we have their respective summarized age. So that's how we need this data to get them fit into the visual easily. Now let's go ahead and quickly fill this for other categories also. Where it should be young adult, and here it should be young adult, young adult. Excellent. Now let's quickly do the similar exercise for the next one, that is for adult. Adult, yeah, and then final one, that is senior citizen, senior citizen, and it will be senior citizen. Okay, excellent. And finally we should not forget to union all these new tables as well into this union young adult table, and finally senior citizen table also, and that gives us the final table. Excellent. So that's how it looks. Now see, that gives us more control over the age category, and also the let's select a visual here. Let's select a visual. Yeah, we can select clustered bar. In y-axis I am going to use the age key, and in x-axis I am going to use the county, and so x-axis will be age value. Okay, so that gives me adult senior citizen, and now we can add a visual here. We can add a slicer, insert a slicer, and slicer will be based on the county. Perfect. So now you can select each county and you can see their respective data. So you can see what's the adult percentage, and you can see the senior citizen data based on this. And maybe on the formatting part we can quickly change the slicer into tiles if you want. So you can use the tiles also, and you can make it look better. So let's quickly rearrange this. Age, age categorization, analysis, and so here I will tell you, we don't need this, we don't need this. Excellent. And then finally we need data labels. We don't need grid lines. I personally don't prefer to have grid lines. And then border. So let's quickly look into the border also. Visual border, we don't have anything. Okay, I would prefer to have a border for this visual, and then we can have something here on top, your ribbon of filters, and we can get select all also enabled. Let's quickly selection, select all. We can have one for select all also. That's excellent. And I will also show you how exactly a map can be used here. See, when you fit this data into a map, so in order to fit the data into the map, first of all we have to define the data type. So go to this table, final table, then okay, we need to look for the column data category. It should be county. Data category should be county, so that it analyzes if the data is fine. Excellent. We can have one more filter here on top, so we can do this data analysis in either ways. So this is one way to do the data analysis based on each category. And then I will also show you how to do this with the map. It should not be on top of the category. It could be on based on counties. So let me rename this as county population analysis. Excellent. And I am going to insert ArcGIS. Personally I prefer to use ArcGIS Maps, and add data. Location would be this. Excellent. And then we have, so colors, we can give colors based on each value. Okay, now I'm going to, let's quickly define the data. County area. So location type, it should be from one country, that is UK, United Kingdom. United Kingdom, go for most accurate exact match. I don't need closest match, I need exact match. Excellent. So that gives you the population distribution across counties, most of the counties that we have. And now so we can rename this title as population distribution by population distribution. I have just renamed it, and then I am going to add a slicer here for, and this slicer is for each key, and I want to see the slicer in tile format. Tile. Now if I select adult, that gives me in which region we have most number of adult. So all the grayed out region has very less number of adult, whereas we have more adult around Hampshire, I think Lancashire, and then we have Kent. I think this should be at around, sorry, okay, we have most number of adults around this region. Let's select infant, let's see what comes. Okay, most of them are grayed out. This should be because of the scale that we have used. We can adjust the scale. I have made a separate video on ArcGIS Map to adjust the scale. You can have a look into them. Let's look into the other category right now. Let's see how it works. So generally here the problem is with the scale. So beyond the scale, actually everything went on to since we are looking into the data at the summarized level, wherever you have just counted thousands, it just gives a grayed out color. So we can say, instead of natural breaks, a quantile should be much easier to analyze. Excellent. So now let's select senior citizen again. Let's symbology, count and colors here. Okay, quantile. Okay, you can increase the classes also to get this type of analyze data. So this is how you have to play with the ArcGIS map, but ArcGIS map definitely gives you much better result than any other map. In case if you want to analyze at the county level, I would prefer to go for a map, whereas if you want to analyze using the date age category, I would prefer to go for a clustered bar like this. You can still prefer to see, you can play around with other visuals also. We have all types of data available here, one at the county level, and then you have data at in category level also. You have data, raw data also. So you have data at all the level. Once your base data is available, you can very well go ahead and play around with this. I hope you would have found this video useful. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you all in the next video.